بسم الله رب العالمين. اللهم صل على محمد سيد المرسلين وخاتم النبيين وحجة رب العالمين، المنتجب في الميثاق، المصطفى في الضلال، المطهر من كل آفة، البرية من كل عيب، المؤمل للنجاة، المرتجى للشفاعة، المفوض إليه دين الله. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين وعلى أخته العقيلة زينب وأخيه أبا الفضل العباس ورحمة الله وبركاته. قال الله العظيم في محكم كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، إني أنا ربك فاخلع نعليك إنك بالوادي المقدس طوى. آمنا بالله، صدق الله العلي العظيم. For the hastened appearance of Imam صاحب العصر والزمان، أرواحنا وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء، loud صلوات. For your well-being and the well-being of your family and the zawar of Abdullah al-Hussein, a louder salawat. What defines a person? What makes a person stand in the crowd? What makes a person unique, different from the others? If you think it's wealth, the number of the zeros in the bank account, the more they are, the richer a person is, makes him a better person. Or you might think it's the power of the person or the family he comes from. You're not thinking realistically. That is not true. When a person is rich, when a person is powerful, when a person comes from a noble family, that doesn't make him that person, and it doesn't define him that person, doesn't make him a better person than others, even though he might be richer or more powerful, or he comes from a noble family. And that is the question here. What defines a person? There are a number of things. Tonight, I would like to speak about one that is very important, and that is his ethics, hers morals. Islam is a religion that has detailed every single part of your daily lives. To the point, Islam tells you, in the traditions of Ahlul Bayt, alayhim afdalus salati was salam, it tells you how to enter the bathroom and how to exit the bathroom. Islam tells you when it's good for you to clip your toenails or your fingernails. Islam tells you when to have shower, when it's a good time to have it. Islam tells you when to trim your beard, so on and so forth. Every part, every aspect of our life is defined to it. It tells you what to do, what not to do. And when it comes to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it is stated in the Quran al-Kareem, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. Our Prophet, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, has the highest of moral character. The highest. Now we are Muslims. We follow this religion. Tonight I'd like to speak about the etiquette of this majalis. When a person comes to this majalis, there are a number of things, a list of yes and no's. There are things that it's okay, there are things that are absolutely not fine or appropriate for a person to come into this majalis in that kind of situation, or in that kind of dress code. In the ayah that I recited, it says that take off your sandal, you are entering a holy site. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala determines what is holy, what is not. When you go to a church, there are a list of etiquettes that tell you where to sit, how to hold the Bible, how to recite it, when to stand up to sing the rhythms with the pastor or with the singer. When you go to a synagogue, same thing. There are a number of rules and laws that fall under that. When you go to a temple, they have number of rules. They tell you there are etiquettes here. Number one is the dress code, the clothes that we wear. When we enter this majalis, we have to make sure we are not dressed inappropriately. If someone today dies from your family member, may Allah give everyone and each one of your family members and yourself a long-lasting life. If someone, God forbid, passes away, and you have the funeral procession, or you have the funeral at the mosque or at the Husainiyah, someone comes inside that funeral that you have, that program, and he's wearing red, and he's laughing, he's chewing gum. Would anyone in a society accept any of this behavior? I ask you this question, yes or no? Of course not. No one accepts this. He said, this is a time that I am in mourning. I'm crying for the death of a loved one, and yet a person comes in chewing gum or wearing red. Doesn't work out. There is a dress code there. For a person to enter the majalis of Abdullah al-Hussein chewing gum, alhamdulillah, we don't have it here, but I've seen it. Whatever I say tonight, I've seen it some way or another, or I heard about it. Chewing gum doesn't work out in this majalis. Another thing, when a person enters this majalis wearing red, red is not associated with mourning. Red actually is the opposite of that. If someone is actually in a time of celebration, they wear red. On the 9th of Rabi' al-Awwal, we wear red. We are celebrating in the Ayad, in the Mawalid. An Islamic calendar, the Shia Islamic calendar, if you look at it, we have occasions every month. There is one way or form of occasion. There is a Eid, or there is a Milad, the birthday of an Imam or a Ma'soom, and there is a death, a martyrdom. There are etiquettes that fall into this majalis. This is for the man's side. When it comes to the ladies, not to wear 5 kilos of makeup thinking I'm here to represent myself to the others. Unfortunately, this happens in some centers. This happens on the social media. If a woman wants to go to the ziyarah of Abdullah al-Hussein, she stands there taking a selfie, having that 5 kilos of makeup and posting it online for everyone to see. And I now doing the ziyarah of Imam al-Hussein, I haven't forgotten any of my fans. And this is the ziyarah. If you look at the story of Lady Zainab, the saga of Lady Zainab, when she entered Kufa, when she delivered the speech, there is a narration, it says that that was the first time first time they hear her voice. First time. Okay, what is Kufa? What is the story of Kufa? Amir al-Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib used to live in Kufa. So Lady Zainab used to live in Kufa. And she had lessons for the ladies teaching the mahkam and tafsir. They lived there for more than a decade. It said that was the first time we hear her voice. When it comes to the majalis of Abdullah al-Hussein, be a person who follows Zainab. Be a person who follows Sayyid al-Shuhada Abdullah al-Hussein. I'm coming to the majlis of Imam al-Hussein. And on top of all this, who is in charge of this majalis? Who's taking the condolences? Fatima al-Zahra salamullah alayha. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. They are taking the condolences from each and every person who comes to this majalis. As I mentioned last night, this is the house of Hussein. And the majalis are in the hands of Fatima al-Zahra and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They are the ones taking the condolences. When you enter this majlis, be careful of how you are dressed. Be careful of how you talk. And this is the second one we're talking about tonight. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This is the part I want to focus a little bit on. Please don't get offended for any of this. I'm saying how it is. And as I said last night, let's reflect, let's change. Unfortunately, when it comes to the majalis of Abdullah al-Hussein, we have the tendency that when it comes to the majalis, we like to chat. We like to talk. Yes, that's fine. But what do you say? When do you say it? How do you say it? That is very important. When do you say it? You don't make a joke in a funeral. Yes or no? Of course not. You don't laugh in a funeral. No. When you enter the majalis Imam al-Hussein, why is it that everyone wants to show off themselves that I am, when everyone's talking about politics, I am the best of the politicians. When they're talking about economy, well, I spent 20 years and more in the Wall Street. When it comes to any subject, they know everything, subhanallah. When it comes to religion, even to religion, you hearing him or you hearing her giving ahkam, giving saying this is haram, this is halal. There are jurisprudence now. One of the ulama in Mashhad used to say, we wait for the people to give us their conclusions when it comes to the ahkam, to the jurisprudence, then we give our own. And he's a marja. We wait for the people to say what they think, then we pitch in and we say, okay, are we all done? Are we all good? Now we are pitching. For a person who spent decades of his life, yet he's scared. He doesn't have that confidence. He says after every hukum, he says, Wallahu al-alam, yet I'm scared to give you a hukum. Yet he comes to the majalis of Abdullah al-Hussein after the majlis. We sit down and we do ghibah. We backbite. أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه? Do you like you, brother, to eat another dead flesh? Would you like that? Definitely not. Now you find this to be a big problem. To what point? There are some who are really sensitive. They are offended easily. When they hear one word here and there, they take that to the highest point and they say, you know what? I'm not going to attend any of these majalis. I will not go to any of these gatherings. But the member is not doing this. The message of Abdullah al-Hussein is totally different. So he says in the Quran al-Kareem about the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu لا ترفعوا أصواتكم فوق صوت النبي. Do not raise your voice when the Prophet is talking. They used to sit down in the gatherings the Bedouins, and the Bedouins are really tough to deal with, even today. Those days, harder than that. 23 years Rasulullah had to deal with the most hardest people in the hottest climate. They used to sit down, some of them laying on the ground and playing with the beard of Rasulullah and saying to Rasulullah, Hadithana ya Rasulullah, say, talk to us, entertain us. Is Rasulullah there to entertain you? Or some of them, they used to say for hours. Allah says in the Quran al-Kareem, if it's done, if it's finished, the conversation, the hukam, get up and leave. Rasulullah doesn't say that because he's shy from you. But we say it, get up and leave. It's enough. What does the Quran say? It says, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, the believers, the one who believe. لا ترفعوا أصواتكم فوق صوت النبي ولا تجهروا له ولا تجهروا له بالقول كجهر بعضكم لبعض أن تهبط أعمالكم وأنتم لا تشعرون. They talk, they are loud. When it comes to the majalis, we are showing the children how to behave when they enter the majlis. When a child sees their parents dressing black and they are preparing themselves to enter majlis of Abdullah al-Hussein, they are also learn from this. We learned it from our fathers, now our children, they learn it from us. When they see that when it's majlis time, it's lecture time, we all have to listen. No one has to talk. Even if someone calls me, yet you find some people when someone calls them, as soon as the mobile phone rings, they have to answer. Well, it's my wife, I have to answer her. It's my friend, he can't answer that later. It's out of respect, not for the speaker, it's out of respect for the words that he's saying, he's uttering. And those are ahadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalu salati wassalam. So number one was the clothes. Number two is the talk, the conversations, the tongue. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi afdalu salati wassalam says in a hadith, al-lisan jarmuhu saghir wa jurmuhu kabir. Let's say that one more time. Al-lisan, lisan is the tongue. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, and this is narrated in Nahjul Balagha, al-lisan jarmuhu saghir. It's a small piece of meat. If you weight it, it's not that big of a piece of meat. It's not the biggest part of the body. But the Imam says, al-lisan jarmuhu saghir wa jurmuhu kabir. But the sins that this tongue does are huge, are big. How many households that are shamed by this tongue, that are lied to, that have been backbited, that have been accused for something that is not true? Because of that lisan, because a person cannot hold their tongue. A person cannot say, well, I learned from Hussein, I learned from Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalu salati wassalam, to hold on to that tongue. I'll give you an example. A Shami, a person from Damascus, came to Medina al-Munawwara. He entered Medina al-Munawwara. Listen to this story, and let's say how the Imam was, how Ahlul Bayt were. Let's see how they were and how we behave, that we believe that we are Shia. We say we are the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalu salati wassalam. So this Shami entered Medina al-Munawwara, he went to the mosque and he asked the people, where is Hassan al-Mujtaba? Hassan al-Mujtaba, the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. They pointed out to Imam al-Hassan al-Mujtaba salamullah alayhi. He came without saying Salamu alaykum. Are you Hassan? He said, yes, my name is Hassan. He said, that is your father Ali? Yes, my father is Ali. Is your mother Fatima? Yes, my mother is Fatima. He started cursing the Imam. cursing the Imam, using foul language on the Imam, abusing the Imam. Imam was sitting there, didn't say a word. The Sahaba of the Imam, the companions of Imam al-Hassan, every one of them pointed to the Imam, nudged the Imam, let us answer him, let us beat him up. Imam said, sit down, he's talking to me. And I will answer him back. The man finished. After half an hour of abusing the Imam, using foul language on the Imam, he finished. It is narrated, it said the Imam looked at him and he smiled. He smiled. He wasn't furious. He wasn't angry. He smiled in his face and he said to him, أيها الشيخ أظنك غريبا. I think you are a stranger. This is not your town. And then the Imam says that to him. Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba, our second Imam. Imam says to him, لو سألتنا أعطيناك. If you ask us for anything, we will give it to you. He just abused the Imam. But the Imam here says to him, if you are a stranger, it looks like you are a stranger, whatever you ask, we will deliver. ولو استرشدتنا أرشدناك. وإن كنت جائعا, if you are hungry, أطعمناك. If you are hungry, we will give you food. And the man is standing there, baffled, staggered. What is going on? I just abused him. I wasn't waiting for this kind of a reply. I was waiting for him to get up and abuse me back. And the Imam says to him, وَإِن كُنْتَ جَائِعًا أَطْعَمْنَاك وَإِن كُنْتَ مُحْتَاجًا أَغْنَيْنَاك وَإِن كُنْتَ طَرِيدًا أَوْيَيْنَاك. If you are fleeing from your hometown and you have no shelter, we will give you shelter. We give you a house, we will give you food, we will give you water, we will give you clothes, whatever you want, we will give it to you. This man looked at the Imam, doesn't know what to say. What is my comeback here? I just abused him. And yet this is his response. Don't be amazed by this. This man is the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. This is the grandson. He follows his grandfather. And he says to him, what is it that you want from us? We will give it to you. We will deliver to you. Same thing comes to Imam al-Hussein, salamullah alayhi, Sayyid al-Shuhada. Enemies that are there fighting him, enemies that are there trying to kill him, and yet he has mercy on them. And it is narrated on one occasion that a person came to Imam al-Hussein, Sayyid al-Shuhada. He asked for some money, some sadaqah. The Imam said to him, wait, let me go see how much I have in my house so I can give it to you. So he entered his house, the Imam alayhi salatu was salam. He entered his house. He picked up a bag of coins, gold and silver coins, and the Imam, this is what this is said in this hadith. It is narrated that the Imam opened the door halfway and he didn't peek out with his face. Imam just took out the money, brought out the money with his hands, and the Imam said to him with a low voice, take this money and I am ashamed of you, that I don't have more to give you. I can't give you more than this. So I don't want to see in your face. I can't look at you when I'm giving you that money, because I have no more than this to deliver. Yet, there are some that claim to be Shia. Whenever they give anything for the cause of Allah, they want to be on top of the list where the picture is there with the amount they're given. If if you're doing it purely for Allah the Almighty, if you're doing it for Allah the Almighty with a sincere heart, you don't need to be announced. No one needs to call your name. This is what the Ahlul Bayt they taught us, the akhlaq, the morals, the ethics. The etiquette of Ahlul Bayt is of the highest. So we learn from them something. That's what they did. That's how the Imam acted with this man. If you look at the other of the Imams, alayhim afdalus salati was salam, in the dead of night, they carry out food and money and they take it to the poor and the orphans. A man said to Imam Zayn al-Abidin wa Sayyid al-Sajidin Ali ibn al-Hussein, when he saw him in the dead of night carrying that heavy bag, he said to him, Sayyidi, these are your enemies and you're giving them money, you're giving them food. He said to him, if they were our Shia, we even give them the salt that we use at our dinner table. We even give them that. Let them be our enemies. It's my obligation to give them. It's my responsibility to give them, and I'm doing this. And that was the way of Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus salati wassalam. We learn from this how to act in a situation like that. If someone asks us for any donation or any money or any help, we don't announce it. صلى على محمد وآل محمد. Number 3 is the intention. When we enter this majlis, what is my intention? We come to this majalis, we attend because of our love for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. The love of Hussein drives us to come to this majalis. The love of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein salamullah alayhi brings us from our houses from far away sometimes to attend this majalis, to sit down and listen to a lecture, to cry. So the intention has to be purely for Allah the Almighty. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam narrates in one of the hadith, he says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لم أقبل إلا ما كان خالصا لي. I don't accept anything from anyone unless that is purely for me, for Allah the Almighty. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. The intention has to be pure. If you look the prerequisites of salah, you find when it comes to salat, for salah that we perform, there are a number of things that we have to follow. Tahara, number 1, wudu, the qibla, the intention when I stand there to Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. الثانية رحمكم الله. If the salah wasn't for the intention purely for Allah, qurbatan ila Allah ta'ala, Allah doesn't accept it. And it is narrated that Allah says to the people that did not do their worship for Allah the Almighty, He says to them, Ya kafir, Ya zindiq, Ya mushrik. 3 things He says to that person. You did this amal, this worship, not for me, you did it for the people. So go get the reward of that amal that you did from the people. So He says what to them? Ya kafir, Ya zindiq, Ya mushrik. Go get the amal that you did, the reward of it, from the people that you did it for. It wasn't purely for me. A person who gets up in the middle of the night and stands in the direction of the Qibla and he prays 2 raka'at without anyone else knowing, Allah accepts that worship. Not a person who announces every single detail of his life to everyone that I did this and I did that and I did this and I did that. has to be sincere action. And that sincere action is accepted by Allah the Almighty. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. There are two more and we conclude with them. Number 4 is the complaints. The etiquettes of this majalis that we don't complain. The food wasn't good, the tea wasn't good, the water wasn't good, it was hot, it was cold. Don't be part of the problem, be part of the solution. I don't like the food, it wasn't cooked to my standards. I don't like the gathering, I don't like the attendance, it wasn't to my standards. Don't be a person who only complains. Be a person who comes with a solution, who helps out, who does something positive. Look at the positive of it. I came to a gathering that is in the name of Hussein. That is number 1 of it. And the reward of that, it's higher than anything else in life. If there is a situation that must be addressed, how can I be of assistance? Why? Because when I'm doing them, I'm doing this to serve Fatima Zahra, to serve Imam al-Hussein salamullah alayhi. So the etiquette of this majalis is not just what we dress, it's not just sitting down and listening, it's not just we sit down proper way, we don't stretch our legs during the majlis. It's also to help out. It can be anything. It can be anything. And when I say this, I'm asking you to be part of this movement. Be part of it. It is narrated that a person during the month of محرم every day used to sit down and turn on the argila and sit down and smoke. Next to him there is a Husainiyya, Tikya they called it in those days. They used to sit down and recite the majalis of Abdullah al-Hussein. One day he was smoking and he didn't have any more coal. So he got up, he said, you know what, I'm gonna go next door, they're cooking, I can get some from them and come back and smoke. He came to the majlis of Abdullah al-Hussein, even though he was a neighbor of this Husainiyya, he never attended. He came into the majlis and he saw that the people are occupied with mourning and latum, and they are crying, and no one is next to the kitchen and no one is attending their food, and the call is about to turn off. So he stood there and he started turning it on in the sake of the food to be prepared. So he didn't do it just to serve Allah, he was there doing it just to cook the food. While he was doing that, a piece of coal, when it was fired up, some fire came and burned a bit of his hair. So he said, ouch. He took some fire, he went into his house, he sat down there, he smoked, the night he slept, and at the dream that he had that night, in the dream he saw that it's the day of judgment. And Imam al-Hussein is sitting, and next to him is standing Jibreel. And he's telling him of the names of the people that served Imam al-Hussein, Sayyid al-Shuhada, that year. And he tells him he was that person, and the Imam sees his name and he signs the name. Imam has to accept it. Imam signs the name, and another name came, Imam signs it, another name, Imam signs it. When the names are about to finish, Imam says to him, what about Fulan, that person? He called his name. He said, well, he didn't serve you. No, he did. No, he didn't say he did. He's not one of your servants. He said, yes, he did. Yesterday he went to a majlis and he helped out. Even though it wasn't purely for me, but I accept that. Put his name as well. Put it with the names of the Khuddam of Imam al-Hussein. It is said that Habib ibn Mudahir says, I wish I could come and sit down and attend this majalis with you and cry for Hussein. Habib ibn Mudahir says that, a companion of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. So Imam al-Sadiq alayhi afdalu salatu wassalam says to one of his companions, Fudayl ibn Yasar, he says to him, Ya Fudayl, atajlisun wa tatahaddathun? He says to him, do you sit down and you talk about us? These majalis, do you have this kind of gatherings? To which he said to the Imam, Naam, ju'altu fidak. Yes, we do. We sit down and we mention your name and we remember you. To which Imam replied to him, he said to him, to Fudayl, he said to him, Ya Fudayl, inna tilka al-majalis uhibbuha. The Imam likes this majalis. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi afdalu salati wassalam. Fahyu amrana. رحم الله من أحيا أمرنا. شيعتنا خلقوا من فاضل طينتنا يفرحون لفرحنا ويحزنون لحزننا. This is why when it came to any of the Imams in the beginning of the month of محرم, they cry and they say to them, don't you know what today is? Today is the first of محرم. And that increases and increases the crying and the weeping and the mourning and the commemorating of the death of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein to the 10th of Muharram. When it's Ashura, it is narrated that Imam al-Kadhim alayhi afdalu salatu wassalam, they used to bring him water, place it in front of him. The Imam stands up and he walks around the water and he calls out, Ya Abu Abdullah, Ya Abu Abdullah, Ya Abu Abdullah, and he cries throughout the day. Throughout the day he cries. He came to Imam al-Sajjad Zayn al-Abidin and he said to him, Sayyidi wa Mawlai, your sister Sukaina told me that you've been crying. It is 34 years that has been passed since the martyrdom of your father, Imam al-Hussein, Sayyid al-Shuhada. Isn't it enough? To which Imam said to him, to Abu Hamza Thamali, he said to him, don't you know what happened to Yaqub? He cried for his son and his son was still alive. Jacob cried حتى ابيضت عيناه من البكاء. His eyes turned white. That means he became blind. Even though he knew that Yusuf is still alive and he is the king of Egypt, he cried and he cried and he cried حتى ابيضت عيناه. And the Imam looked at him and he said, how can I not cry when I saw my father on the plains of Karbala cut into pieces? How can I not cry when I saw my father being headless on the plains of Karbala? How can I not cry when I saw 18 members of my family being killed on the plains of Karbala, and there is no one like them? Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah, على الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم جميعا معا بصوت عال. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين وعلى أخته العقيلة زينب وأخيه أبا الفضل العباس ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا يا رب الحسين بحق الحسين اشف صدر الحسين بظهور الحجة يا رب الحسين بحق الحسين اشف صدر الحسين بظهور الحجة يا رب الحسين بحق الحسين اشف صدر الحسين بظهور الحجة اللهم اجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه يا رب العالمين اللهم اجعلنا من المستشهدين بين يدي الفاتحة قبل الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.